Right, a lot of us, vast majority of us, always have begonias in his garden. Absolutely wonderful plant. Non-stop, non-stop for a reason. Just keeps producing blooms. As the blooms reach the full maturity, they drop, and then another one takes its place, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. And if you treat them well, and if you look after them well, you can save them for years and years and years. You do have an issue with a vine weevil. Again, just check, especially when you're containerising them, make sure we don't get these vine weevils. If you've got the little white grubs, it will absolutely devastate your begonia. It'll just eat all your root system away. It'll eat the corm. The begonia's done. Don't even try and save it for what begonias actually cost. Just get rid of it, get it away from the rest of your stock. But to overwinter, it's very easy. Now, if you go on the internet, how to overwinter begonia corms, they'll tell you to take it out of the pot, take away all the compost, take away all the foliage, and you're left with a corm. Wrap it in newspaper, put it somewhere dry, frost-free, hard at wear. You can do that, but you've still got a good chance of losing it, and you've gone to a great deal of effort to do that. Now, when you take it away from the compost, you're exposing it to the elements, you're exposing it to moisture, exposing it to cold weather. So just leave it in its pot. So basically, when that's finished flowering, or when it's starting to die back and it knows winter's coming, just let it die back naturally. Protect it from frost. Don't leave it outside when the hard frosts come, but just let it die back. Now, as the plant starts to die back, its corm starts to swell, so you get a bigger, healthier corm. It's got a better chance of coming back year after. The reason we leave it in the pot, and remember, when you leave it in the pot, don't water it during the winter months at all. The compost will act as a barrier. Because the compost retains moisture and pulls moisture in, it'll keep it away. So anywhere in the winter where you're saving it, if it's the shed or if it's a cold greenhouse, any moisture that does get in, the compost will protect you, because the compost will take the moisture away. Compost will also act as a barrier against the cold. So if the frost comes, corm's in the middle of the compost, and it just gives it that little bit of protection. Most importantly, you've not done anything to it. You've just pulled it into a greenhouse, pulled it into a shed, and you've left it. So if it does die, it's not like you've gone to any effort to try to save this plant. You've just given it the best chance that it could. Now, we overwinter them all like this. We just put it in a cold greenhouse. It's relatively frost-free, but there's no heat on. We don't put no fleece down on it. And it will get to, the temperatures will drop in that greenhouse. But then in February, when we start to add water to it, then it starts to sprout. Now, don't panic if it doesn't start to sprout in March, if it doesn't start to sprout in April. Begonias, the notoriously late starters, may even be May before you see any signs of life. But if you don't want to water something that's dead, if you just want to check, take away the compost, push your thumb against the corm. If it's solid, it is alive and it will come. Bit of fresh compost on top, gently watering it. Remember to keep it frost-free. And then when it does start to shoot, transfer it into a larger pot, and then away you go. It's bigger and it's better, more flowers, and the flowers tend to be bigger the longer you keep it. So year 2 and year 3, you get a bigger, more bolder begonia. And it's the easiest thing in the world to save. So don't throw your begonias away. Just try and overwinter them. Don't go to any effort. Don't take them out of the compost. Leave them in the compost. If they're in a big pot, just drag the pot in the corner of your garage, corner of your shed, and let's see if they come back. If not, worst case scenario, you have to buy fresh next year. Best case scenario, you get a bigger, bolder begonia that ain't cost you no money.